Hey guys, it's Mr. Bosher, and today I'm just going to go over a quick example. This type of problem, I do not have an assignment for on Alex, so after you watch this video, there's not going to be a new assignment, just because Alex doesn't really have great examples or a great way to ask you this question. And we tried to use the Google Slides before, we ran into issues, okay? So for now, I just want you to sort of watch the video so you can see how would you tackle this type of question, which is going to be when we have a table. Okay, we want to see what do we do when we're given a table and they want domain or range. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of give you this one example, and then after you're done with this example, you can go ahead and work on any other assignments and it will be a free day. Okay, why do you need to know this? Well, I might put a table question on your quiz, which will actually be this Friday. Okay, so on Thursday, I'll try to give you something to review with, and then on Friday you will take another quiz over everything we've learned functions, and a table question might be on there, so I don't want you to get thrown off by a table question because I never shown you. Okay, so this will be my one example of that, and let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so basically it says we have a table and it wants us to find the range. We'll go ahead and find domain and range, but in this specific problem, they just ask for range. Okay? And they don't give us a picture. And we say, okay, well, we've done a few questions now where we don't have, like, the graph or the picture, right? We said, well, you could have a word problem. But this doesn't really seem like a word problem because we don't really know what the x and the y stand for. So we can't really do anything there. And we could say, well, we've done an equation. And maybe this is given from an equation, but we don't know that equation, right? So I can't just type into Desmos what the equation is because I don't have that. Okay? But what I can do is just type the whole table in itself. So if I go to Desmos, so let's open up Desmos, and I just type in the word table, we see that it will give us a table. And we have x and y values to plug in. So let's go through and see, well, what was our x values? Our x values were -4, -3, -2, -1, and 2. Okay, -4, -3, so let's just type all those in. -4, -3, -2, -1, I believe it was 2 is what they gave us. Let's see. Yeah. Okay, and then we also have our y values. 5, 11, 13, 11, -19. Let's see if I can remember that. 5, 11, 13, 5, 11, 13, 11, and I want to say it was -19 is what they gave us. Let's double check. Alright, perfect. And if you noticed, as I type those into Desmos, it gives me coordinate points. Okay? So now we're getting closer and closer to our favorite thing with domain and range, which is a graph, right? We are very, very strong at finding domain and range from a graph. So if I get a table question, we're going to say, well, if I put that table into Desmos, it kind of gives me part of the graph. It doesn't give me the whole line, but at least gives me an idea of what the graph would look like. Okay, so all you would do from here, let's see if I can get to where I can draw it. Can I move that out of the way? Perfect. What I would do from here is I would say, okay, I kind of have the idea of what this graph is going to do, right? So to my best ability, I could just go through and say, well, what would the shape kind of look like if I follow this? Well, it looks something like that, right? If you remember, when we plugged in the equations into Desmos yesterday, if it actually drew the graph for us, these would go forever and it would look like an upside down U or a regular shaped U, right? So we can see that the coordinate points kind of make that shape and we can draw them out ourselves. And once you draw them out, it's the same type of question as yesterday. Okay, so if I were to ask you, hey, what is our domain? You could say, well, the domain uses x values and the x values go left and right. But if I go to the left, I go forever. And if I go to the right, we go forever. So our domain would be all reals. and now we found the domain when they gave us a table. Okay, but our specific problem said, hey, what's the range? Well, we can do that too. We can say the range uses y values. The y values can go up and down, right? So I'm going to go from the bottom to the top. And I could say, well, do I have a bottom value? Well, when I move downwards, I run into arrows, right? If I were to draw out this graph and actually connect these coordinate points, I would keep going downwards forever, like we saw yesterday. So we would say that we don't have a bottom point and erase that. And they would say, well, do I have a top point? It looks like my top point would be right there. And what's the y value? 13. So we could say, well, the top would be at 13. And then all we got to ask ourselves now is, well, is that point filled in? If you look at the coordinate point right here, it is filled in on Desmos, right? All the coordinate points that we had in the table were filled in. And when a coordinate point is filled in, we put the equals to, like we learned many days ago. Okay? So that's the basic idea. Again, I don't want to waste your time with giving you a lot of examples when it's kind of just doing the same thing we have been. You're just now adding the table into Desmos to get started. Okay? Once again, Alex does not have a great question type for this, so I'm not going to give you an assignment on this because chances are that Google Slides is going to, not work with us again. So just keep this in mind, as I may make it like a bonus question probably on your quiz on Friday, and I'll try to make some questions for your review, okay, because I'm probably going to make another GimKit review, so I'll see if I can get some table questions in your review so you can get a little bit more practice. All right, but other than that, you can have a work day, and yeah, have a great day.